So in the last few tutorials, we created a really simple coin collection game. What I went ahead and did in my assets folder is I did a little bit of cleanup. I created a folder called scenes. I threw all my scenes in there. I cleaned up my models section, and so that's about it. So let's go into our scripts folder right here. And we're going to create a new script that we're going to call console window. So let's just create a C# script, and I'm going to name it console window. This script is going to control our GUI, and it's also going to we're also going to create a little console that allows us to debug our scene. So let's go ahead and grab our console C# script and drop it on our game manager. And again, our game manager controls the universe, so it's also going to control our user interface. So I'm just going to go ahead and edit this script. Alright, I'm going to delete these just so that we're a little bit clearer on what our GUI console window script is going to look like. So the first thing you want to do is realize that all of the GUI elements or graphical user interface elements are done through scripting. And they utilize a pre-made method or function called onGUI. So let's go ahead and create that method. So we're going to say void on, capital O-N, and then capital GUI. Make sure that you have a capital GUI here. A lot of people, when they first start scripting this out, make it capital G and then lowercase UI, and it doesn't give you an error when you do that, and so a lot of people run into trouble. Now the first thing I want to do is create a box at the top corner of my screen that's going to allow me to sort of label what my GUI is. So in this method, there's a series of there's a bunch of classes, or there's a class, and this method essentially is located within the GUI class. So the way you access that is you just write GUI, and one of the elements within that class is a box or rectangle. So you see here, there's GUI box. Now, this is a method within this class. So we have a class here called console window. OnGUI is currently a method within that. So this box method is located within a class called GUI. Now, this box method takes two parameters. Okay, so how do I know that? Well, if we go back for a second and I hit this period and I go to the box here, this IntelliSense feature, which is Microsoft developed through C#, will actually show you what the parameters are. So you could see void box here, right? So we know it's a method, and it takes two parameters. One is the actual shape and position of our box, and the second is the name of it. So if I go ahead and just type in box, capital B-O-X, that method, and I separate it with one comma, I'm already on my way. So let's do the easy one, which is, let's just type in console window. And then we'll give it a proper name later. Now, the next element is, you can see here it says rectangle position. So what we want to do is allocate new memory for this box so that it actually stores it in memory. You always have to write the word new here. And then I'm going to write, just like it shows here, capital R-E-C-T for rect. And this rectangle itself takes four parameters. The first is the X and Y parameters. So if we look at the corner of our screen here, this rectangle is going to start here at 0, 0. So this is the way Unity does it. So I want to go over 10 units on X and 10 units down on Y and position my box somewhere about here. So in my X, I'm going to type in 10, comma 10. And then you could see here, this is the left. So the next two parameters are the width and the height. So this is to the left of the corner, and then top down is 10. My width, I want it to be wider than it is taller. So I can do 100, comma 10. Let's go 500, comma 10. All right. Now I'm going to hit Control S here. Double check that you added this to your game manager, and now let's press play. So looks like I made it too short on the top. Let's do 50 here instead of 10. All right, let's save that. Now, what really irks me, one of the things that irks me about C# is see how I had to go back in, edit it, and then press play again to test it? Or I'm sorry, that irks me about the GUI feature. Something that they did to improve that or allow you to see it active is to add an execute in window command. So let's type that in there. So above our class here, I'm just going to create two brackets. And I'm going to write execute in edit mode. Alright, I'm going to hit Control S and save it. And let's press play and then uncheck play. And you'll notice that now we can actually edit this in real time. Another thing that we should do is we should create a couple public variables for our new rectangle here and our console window. So let's start off by doing our console window. That's an easy one. So above my onGUI feature, I'm just going to create a public string, and I'm going to name this console title, and I'm going to make it equal to console window here. Let me maximize that. And then I'm just going to plug console title in here. The next thing I want to do is create another variable that's going to store my new rectangle. And I want to make that public as well. So let's go ahead and do public rectangle. And I'm going to name this console dimensions. I want to make that equal to new rect. And as you probably already guessed, I'm just going to copy and paste console dimensions here. Now when I save that, there we go. You can see we get our console dimensions, and I can update the position, the width, which is pretty cool, the height, on the fly. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Control S to save that. Okay, so our console window itself, which is, I'm just going to name this console, or our console title, or our console window itself, is going to be used for debugging. Now, what I want to be able to do is, when I press the C key, I want to be able to hide this. And again, what I'm doing is I'm trying to save any errors. So I can script or edit my my game on the run, like in real time when I'm working on it. So I'm going to create another variable that's public, and it's a Boolean, and I'm going to name it show console, and I'll make that equal to false. So what I'm going to say here is if this is true, display the box. Okay, so I'm going to end this tutorial here, and then we'll continue to work on programming our console window in the next tutorial.